Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to another episode of Crypt Ricks I've been thinking. I'm your host, Crypt Rick. I want to thank you all for taking the time to come and join me for another great show. Got a great guest lined up for you this evening. Been wanting to actually speak with this man for quite a while now. Been learning a lot, watching videos, and so I'm excited to have him. I'm very honored that he took the time to come and speak with me because this is a big topic. And I started looking into it, and we're talking about flat Earth, guys, and kind of looked at it myself. I went into it kind of like I wanted to prove that, like, these people, I can't believe they think the Earth is flat. Like, I know it's round. That's what I've been taught for my whole life. And then I started looking into it, and I tell you, once you start going down the hole and start looking at this rabbit hole of flat Earth, and this is a thing, I'm telling you, people, there is a lot of people that are on board with this idea of flat Earth. There's a lot of conferences going on. There's a lot of YouTube channels, podcasts, and I thought, hey, why not get the expert in and try to I'm in the middle. I honestly admit I'm in the middle. I'm not saying it's flat, and I tend to think it's round because that's what I've been taught my whole life. So I'm in the middle, but I am willing to look at it and come to and see the evidence for flat Earth. So let me bring in my guest here. Here he is. Thank you, David Weiss, for making some time to come and speak to me on my show.
Rick, welcome to the last moment of your former life, because this is the pivot point of your life. This show right now, as we're recording. Life is never going to be the same for you. Now, you said that you were taught that the Earth was a globe.
Yes.
So I don't think you were taught, because we were just told the Earth was a globe. They never showed us any science. They never showed us anything. They told us stories. They showed us cartoons. They told us theories, but they never, ever showed us any proof. Now, I was you. Every flat earther has the same story that you have, right? So you're going right down that flat Earth road, by the way. But I'm not going to call you a flat earther yet. And where we thought it was stupid, we went into it with a closed mind. I'm just going to prove the globe and prove all of these they're flat tards, right? That's the derogatory term they use for us. That's all they got. That's their best globe proof, calling us names. Because I went in, I was like, okay, what about boats over the horizon? What about seasons? What about sunsets? What about day and night? What all these things? I'm like, these all prove the globe. And then I found out lots of them work on both. And some of them prove the flat Earth. None of them work just on a globe. There's things that work on both. Okay? Like left and right for me is a different left and right for you, because we're looking at each other, right? Your left is my right. Your forward is my backwards, right? But up is up for you and down is down for you. And that's the same for me. Okay? And that's what we're going to find out on the globe, where you're going to find out East and West are different than North and South. So where do you want to start?
Well, what I wanted to first ask you was, what got you, this is what fascinates me about when I talk to people that are into the subject, what got you into looking at flat Earth and made you start going down that road? I'm very curious about that.
This is asked me every show. So anyone that's listening, you know what I'm going to say that already knows. But I'll go over it real quick. I was doing a conspiracy podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole out of Stand Up New York Labs, which was out of New York Comedy Club. It was myself, my buddy Tim, we're the Truth Seekers, and then we had a comedian, Mike Cannon, very funny guy, who basically tried to turn everything into a fart joke. And it was kind of like a good thing for serious conspiracies. When I talk about conspiracies, I'm talking about the thing that happened in New York, the thing that happened in Connecticut, the thing that happened at the marathon, all other things, right? And we went into all these conspiracies for, we did it for 3 years, but in the third year, people said, hey, Dave, have you looked into flat Earth? And I was like, oh, that's funny, And then I just delete the email. And then they'd post on our Facebook, and then I just delete the post. And I'm like, that's stupid. And then they're like, what? Just watch this 2-minute video. And then I ban them from our social media for being so stupid as to waste my time to watch a 2-minute video, right? And then finally, I got sick of it. I was forced to look by another researcher who I trust, who said, Dave, I think the Earth might be flat. And I said, that's it. I'm just going to disprove it. And that's how you become a flat earther. When you have the courage to dive in and actually look. Like, okay, I'm going to disprove flat Earth. I'm going to Google flat Earth. Who controls your mind? The government. Govern, control the mind. And who runs Google? It's all government. All of these big corporations. This is all mind control. The tell lies into your vision, right? Mm-hmm. So all of that is mind control. All of the stuff, it's still out there. Luckily, a lot of stuff censored on like YouTube, but our stuff's still there. You just can't find it. You Google flat Earth on YouTube, you get all of these prepaid psyops, these shills. The one guy's called Professor Dave. Top video every time. Professor Dave. He's not a professor. He's an actor, right? With a bunch of straw man arguments. He's like, oh, flat earthers think the earth is rising at 9.8 meters per second, and that's how we get gravity. No flat earther thinks that, right? Right. Flat earthers, where's the edge? How come no one's taken a picture of this ice wall? Well, millions of people, not millions, there's millions, not millions of people, but there's millions of pictures of the ice wall. Flat earthers, think that the earth is like this. No flat earther thinks the earth looks like this. Okay. So what is the earth real quick? And then I'll let you go. Sure, if we're not a disk in space, what are we? And the way I look at it is clear your head of everything you've been indoctrinated. Take Walt Disney out of your head. Walt Disney has astronauts, has Werner von Braun, the Nazi scientist that runs NASA, that started NASA, on his show. Astronauts on their show. Sesame Street, astronauts. What is all of this programming? They want you to be so indoctrinated into the ball, so in love with the ball, and then have a false belief what flat earth is, so you'll never look into it. You Google flat earth, you end up at the Flat Earth Society. That's where these images come from. Okay? Obama mentioned the Flat Earth Society in a half a dozen speeches. Why is the president of the United States at that time mentioning the Flat Earth Society? Because they want you to go there, because it's filled with garbage. A little bit of truth, a lot of garbage, and then you're like, oh, this is just too stupid, and then you'll never look again. So what is the flat earth? Clear your head. The flat earth is a giant lake. Okay. Well, what's a lake? A lake is a body of water. Water relentlessly seeks the ultimate base level until it finds its resting point. Well, we're in a lake, and the shoreline of our lake has to be higher than the lake, or otherwise the lake will pour out, right? Lower the shoreline, the lake pours out. Take the bucket away, the water is gone. Take the bathtub away, the water's gone. Take the edge of the lake away, the water's gone. Well, the highest land on Earth, they tell us, is Antarctica. They tell us it's a continent at the bottom of a globe. That's weird that it's higher than all the other lands. Maybe it's because of all the snow. I used to think things like that, right? Oops, I just lost my picture. So what is Antarctica? Antarctica, we're a pond, where the shoreline of our pond is Antarctica. Antarctica is not at the bottom of a globe. It's the shoreline. So what's out here in the outer space? I don't know. No one's allowed to go there. 1959, Admiral Byrd flew out there, said there's land bigger than the United States, filled with resource that no human has ever set eyes upon. And in the time when we're warring all these other countries for resources and power and everything, they go, oh, there's land with resources, uranium, coal, oil, everything. Oh, let's ban it. Let's make nobody can go there. And they put a treaty in place called the Antarctic Treaty. You can't even question this treaty until the year 2041. What's out there in the outer space? I don't know. Maybe there's more land.
Okay.
What would you call more land? Extra land? Sure. Extra territory? Sure. Territory land. So if somebody lived on the extra territory, you might call them an extraterrestrial. And if they lived here, we're here in the inner space, they live here in the outer space. So if they came to visit, they would be an extraterrestrial from outer space.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. So now that is very interesting. Now, do a lot of people believe that there's just some land, like if you go past Antarctica, like as you said, there's land there? Do they think it's an infinity land?
Great question. So anything beyond the shoreline of Antarctica is speculation, because no one's allowed to go there, right? 60 degrees south is the farthest you're allowed to go, and that's way far away from Antarctica. For tens of thousands of dollars, you can go take a trip to this little peninsula here, which is bigger than some countries, and you'll see some ice, you see some penguins. Maybe if you're lucky, they'll take you out here at 10, 20 miles, and they'll show you the ceremonial South Pole, and then they kick you out. That's it. No one not allowed to go out here. So I'll give you my thoughts on what's out there, and other people have different thoughts, and we're all trying to figure this out, right? Okay. But there's one thing that every flat earther, whether we think it's an extended plane, I think it's an extended plane. Some people think it's an infinite plane. I don't know. Maybe my extended plane is infinite. I don't know. I haven't been out there, so I don't know. Some people think that maybe there's domes on top of domes on top of domes. Some people think that it's just this puddle. Just this. Maybe there's other puddles out there. Maybe there's a billion other puddles with their own moon and sun. Okay?
Okay.
Right? Everything that we see in the sky is provably within the Earth system. Earth system. Not the solar system, the Earth system. Think about that. Okay, if you look at are you a stargazer? You like looking up at the stars?
I love. Yes, me and my wife love looking at stars.
All right, so think about this. Use your brain here, and you'll get this. What's the planet? Jupiter has been up with the moon lately. It's been very bright, and when you look at it, it's the brightest star in the sky. Star, planet, whatever you want to call it. They used to be called wandering stars until that was changed not too long ago. If you were on Jupiter, you're farther from the sun than Earth, a lot farther, right? So the sun would be smaller. Right? Are you with me? Mm-hmm. Jupiter also, they tell us, is this gassy, this gassy planet. Looks like this. It's all gas. I wouldn't think that's very reflective, okay? The Earth is probably more reflective. It has oceans. It has solid land. So you're on Jupiter, and you have a distant sun. Well, that distant sun, which is, I don't know, half the size that we see the sun, maybe even smaller. That distant, dimmer sun is lighting up Jupiter. That light is bouncing off of Jupiter, traveling all the way to Earth, and somehow it's brighter than any star in the sky. Does that make any sense to you?
No, it doesn't.
It makes no sense.
No.
There's a thing called the inverse square law of light. If I had a flashlight and I'm holding it right here, all of the light, all of the light is right at the camera. As I pull it back, that light is spreading out. Okay, so if it's 64 lumens here, the light beam halfway there, it would be 16 lumens, and then half that distance again, it's getting weaker by the inverse square. So every time you cut a distance to a light in half, it gets 4 times brighter when you get closer, and when it gets farther, it's 1/4 of the brightness. So the light coming off of Jupiter would have to be so friggin' bright at Jupiter that they wouldn't be able to film this. Okay? Same thing with the moon. If you look at the moon on a full moon night, if you're away from city lights, you got the moon, and you could read by it. It casts shadows on the ground. It's so bright. Right? But we're supposed to believe that this guy here is on the daylit side of the moon on this dusty, dirty ball, that this light is reflecting back to Earth, and I can read by this light. Go outside and look at, try to, if you find, it doesn't have to be round, but find a one of those cement, those big sphere cement things that they use to block cars or whatever.
Right, yep.
And look at it on a sunny day and ask yourself, is that lit like the moon is lit? The moon is its own light. The moon, by the way, is the biggest mystery of all. Don't ask me what it is. The only thing that we can honestly, clearly say about it is it's a light. Okay. And sometimes it's half lit, sometimes it's a quarter lit, and sometimes it's not even there. Okay? So these are, again, anything above where we can reach or beyond the shoreline of Antarctica, we're just trying to figure it out. But we can use math, science. Again, math is not reality, but we can use actual science and actual math to prove that things are impossible to be where they say they are. For example, our sun is 93 million miles away. If you moved it right next to Earth, it would fill the entire sky. Move it 93 million miles away, it's the size of a coin at arm's length. Okay? Mm-hmm. Then, if I moved it 25 times farther, you couldn't see it. maybe 10 times farther. Definitely you couldn't see it, right? You can do the math to figure out the angular size. Our eyes can only see something a certain angular size. Like if I showed you a penny and I moved it 200 yards away, you couldn't see the penny anymore because its angular size is too small for your eye to resolve. Well, we couldn't see the moon at that distance. Well, Polaris is 48 times bigger than the moon, so 48 times that distance, you couldn't see Polaris. Well, that distance is like 6 light days. If Polaris, our North Star, was 6 light days away at the size they tell us, we couldn't see it. And they tell us it's 433 light years away, where we scientifically could prove that you can't see it at 6 light hours away. Here's the thing. In school, indoctrination camp, I call it, they never taught us to think. They taught us to memorize and regurgitate the nonsense that the Rockefellers want us to learn so we can be good little worker slaves. They don't want to teach us vortex mathematics or sacred geometry. They want to teach us accounting and algebra, right? So we can be good little slaves. That's it.
Wow. Yeah, like that's the one thing that I've always found interesting, because I do like looking at through my telescope at the stars and the moon and stuff like that. And if I'm not sure the numbers, you'll have to explain that, but we're supposed to be hurling through space.
Oh yeah.
And we're hurling going in this massive speed, and everything's kind of spinning around, they're saying, and everything. How does nothing ever change in the sky? Like the North Star is always there. Nothing ever seems to move.
Wait a minute. I'm the flat earther. You're the heliocentric guy. Okay.
Okay.
Remember your role. Damn it.
Okay. All
right. Well, we're gonna get there. So this is what they tell us is going on. That we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting the sun at 66,000 miles an hour. Can you imagine that? And let me answer that. No. You can't imagine that, because it's not something that's even imaginable. Let me show you real quick. This is the hypersonic sled, Mach 8.6. Watch it. I encourage you to Google this. Find this video, because when you hear it, the shock wave that goes by at Mach 8.6, that's 8.6 times the speed of sound. Watch it again. Here it comes. And bam, you can't even see it.
Wow.
We're orbiting the sun, not that fast. 10 times that speed.
Oh my God.
And then we're also chasing the sun at 90 times that speed. And somehow we have lakes that look like this.
That's true.
It's ridiculous.
But I know what people are going to say, because I know what my teachers are always like, when somebody would bring up, like, how come we're not like falling off the planet and stuff. They blame a lot of stuff on they seem to use gravity to explain everything.
Gravity is a theory. They don't know what it is. They've never proven it. It's a theory. Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the high priest of scientism, he was asked what gravity is, and he goes, "We don't know what it is." He literally said, "We don't know what it is." He goes, "But it has to be there," you know. And then and it actually doesn't work unless you have 96% of it is dark matter and dark energy, which has never been seen, never been measured, but it has to exist for gravity to work. Therefore, it exists. Okay? That's ridiculous. That's the dumbest thing ever. The heliocentric model is the dumbest thing ever once you understand what it is. It's so dumb that I'm offering 100 Bitcoins for anybody that can come up with anything dumber than the heliocentric model. Okay?
Wow. Okay. No, that's the thing. Like that, like I was saying, every time, like, people always throw that at me. They're like, gravity. But I've always, like, now I had a friend say to me, like, they can prove you wrong because you see ships go over the curve. They're like, if you look, the ships are going over the curve.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. The ships over the curve. I used to think the same thing, but we were all shown that 3-masted ship in that video when we were in elementary school.
Yes.
And they showed it. And if you go back to that, if you could find that video, it used to be on YouTube. It's edit. And during that day, it was like huge waves. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. If you were standing next to a skyscraper building, okay, with your arm out at arm's length, holding your finger out like this, could you block your view of that entire building with your finger?
No.
Of course not. Even if you held it at eye level, you couldn't do it, right?
No.
Okay. So in the as you look out over calm water, the water ramps up to your eye level, and the horizon is always at your eye level, no matter what altitude you're at. That's interesting, okay?
That is.
So no matter what altitude you're at, it's at eye level. And I had a good image for that somewhere. And so the altitude's at eye level. So we're still on the ground. Stay with me, okay?
Okay, yeah, I'm with
now,
you.
when something moves into the distance, here's a building. My hand's a building, and as I move away, what's that building doing? It's getting smaller, right?
Getting smaller, yep.
Okay, so let's say we're looking out over rough water, like that video that brainwashed every kid. The waves are they're all over the place. They're 2 feet in front of me. They're 100 yards in front of me. They're 5 miles in front of me. The waves are there, okay? Mm-hmm. The buildings are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So look, I got my wave right here, and I got my building, and you can see the whole building, okay? Mm-hmm. But as that building goes away, look what's happening.
Okay.
The little wave can block the building or the ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those little waves in the distance are a little higher than eye level. They're hiding the horizon, and the ship just goes beyond it and sinks below it. So let me show you an example, okay?
Okay,
and
perfect.
Then, so there's many things. There's waves, there's atmospheric density, there's miraging. I'll show you what miraging is. But here, do you see a ship here? You don't see it, a boat. You don't see it because it's smaller than your eye can resolve. Uh-oh, there it is. Okay. Now, I didn't just zoom over the horizon. I just zoomed this back in the sight. So I'm going to zoom all the way in. Now, look, you can see the entire side of the ship, the boat. It's not a ship. And as they move away, these little waves in the front block the side, goes all the way up to the window. Its angular size is getting smaller. And a glober would say that went over the curve. It didn't. Now the globers will say, well, that's because you're talking about little boats. What about the big cargo ships? Same thing, except they actually disappear not only behind the waves and the atmospheric density, they also disappear into the atmosphere and behind the mirage. Okay?
Okay, I see.
Yeah, they disappear behind the mirage because as they go away, I have a good video on that I can play while I'm talking. This one. So we think that the horizon, this is really sped up. The horizon's right here, but this is not. This is just where the water turns into, it starts reflecting the sky, and then the boat kind of just goes into it. And this happens at a distance where you can't even see it. On a ball, you're about 6 feet tall, I'm guessing?
Yes, 5'11".
Yeah. So a 6 foot tall person standing at the edge of a calm ocean should see the physical horizon at just 3 miles away. What are you talking about 3 miles away? That's globe math, okay? If the ball's 24,900 miles around, at 3 miles, there's a 6 foot drop, so that should be your physical horizon. And anything that goes beyond that should be lower than it, and you can't see it because you're being blocked by a physical horizon. Now look at this boat. You think this is the horizon here. It's like up here. These trees are mirrored, like the horizon's here.
Okay.
And this is a reflection into the sky. You see the boat, how it's doubled? The line of the boat is like right there. You can see where it just doubles.
Yep.
And to see the flying bridge is now in the water. Okay?
Okay.
These are atmospheric effects. Different every day. Tomorrow you might see that boat. Okay? So here is a shot of this mountain that at the distance, according to globe math, not flat earther math, it should be, what does it say? It's like 19,000 feet. That's like 4 miles. This mountain top should be 4 miles below the physical curve.
Wow.
Okay. And the next day, you might come here and not be able to see it. Oh, now it's over the curve. It's over the curve. It's not over the curve. It's a bunch of nonsense. Let me show you a really good example. This is a video. So there's a spot in the Luge, France that's very famous where you can go there and you can look out here, and Mount Canigou is 175 miles away. Well, according to Globe Math, from this altitude, at that distance, the top of Mount Canigou at its peak should be over a mile below the curve. Now, a Glober would have to say this is the curve. This is the physical edge of the Earth, right? Which looks a little farther than 3 miles to me. He goes, but there's 2 days a year where the sun's migratory path between the tropics lines up with the viewer and the mountain. Now, the light bouncing off the mountain on any normal day, that light doesn't have enough brightness to push through all of that atmosphere. It's like looking through a pane of glass, perfectly clear. Now put 100 panes of glass together. Can you see through it? No.
You can't, no.
Okay, and the same thing with the light bouncing off the mountain, but the light of the sun is much brighter. And when it lines up with the mountain, here's the whole mountain. The top of the mountain here should be a mile below the physical curve from this altitude.
And how do they explain that away to people that can show this?
Let me give it to you. They go, well, the mountain is over the curve and the sun has already set. It's just refracting up and stopping at eye level. Now, you have to trade in your common sense for utter nonsense to believe that. And that's what they trained us to do in indoctrination camp. Believe nonsense because that's what the scientists say. Bill Nye, the lying guy with the bow tie, he wears a white lab coat, a bow tie, and whatever he says must be real because he's on television. Okay?
Yep.
Just go watch his last series that he did. It's the most horrendous thing ever. It's unbelievable. And there's the mountain. It's right there. It's right there. So let me show you how perspective works and how we see things. Now, if you were standing next to a 150-foot tree, to look at the top, you'd have to look up like that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But if that 150-foot tree was 5 miles away, the top of the tree would kind of look like it's at your eye level.
Yep.
It would look like it's eye level. Everything goes to eye level, okay? So I did a little experiment in my kitchen. Now, this line looks level, right? And I'm moving the sun along this line, and we're filming it from an elevated point, same height as the line, right? So this is my counter in the dark here. And on the counter, this could be treetops, it could be a city skyline, or this could just be opaque clouds. But you can see that the sun doesn't go below it, and it's on a level line, right?
Okay.
Okay, so now I have a camera on the counter on the other end looking at it, the same thing. If I showed you this first, I said, is this line level? What would you say?
I would say it
no.
is. Oh.
It looks like it's going down.
Down,
and,
right.
And I'd say, is the sun going below this? And you would say, yeah.
Yes.
And this looks like it's at eye level, but it's not. It's way up in the air. But because from that distance, it looks like eye level, and it looks like the sun's setting to me. Now watch, I'm going to compare this to a real sunset. Here's a real sunset. You'd think this is the horizon, but watch what happens. It goes behind something right there. That's called the atmospheric deck of opacity. It also could be mountains in the distance that just aren't bright enough for us to see. Okay? But it's really just atmospheric density. And it looks just like this. Look. Same.
It does. I can't. I'm trying to pick holes in your argument.
Same thing. Same thing. Now, this was filmed by a soldier in Afghanistan, perfectly clear, perfectly dry, and the sun just sits there and it goes away. People say, well, if you're on your flat Earth, the sun would have to get smaller. Well, it does get smaller. Okay? It does. Sometimes, in certain conditions. The fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see the world spinning round.
That looks like
now watch this. Here's a different sunset. I filmed this. East Coast looking west, super dry, below freezing day. So there's no humidity, super clear. And the sun went down, down, down. In 5 minutes time, it went down. Now, if the earth was spinning, it would just keep on going, but it didn't.
Yes.
It went down, 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 and it stopped. And it sat here for 10 minutes. And instead of going down below this apparent horizon, it faded into the thickness of the perfectly clear air that day. Watch it again over here. It just faded away. That's super sped up. Okay?
Wow.
And now my friends,
I'm
I'm bringing it back and forth here. My friends were down at the beach with those tree lines 5 miles away, and they saw the sun set from the bottom up 10 minutes earlier because the sun went beyond the trees.
Wow. Okay, that's hard to explain. It's not going down. I'm looking.
It's going away. Absolutely, simply, clearly going away. Here's the sun just going away, and I put these clouds in. The ones closer to look higher. The ones in the distance merge with the horizon, and when the sun goes beyond these, it just disappears. And now you can't zoom it back in like you can on a boat because it's behind something. A celestial object, you can't zoom in beyond the horizon because it's beyond the horizon and you can't zoom through something solid. Right. But perspective, if a boat is here on the water and we go into the distance and it all gets pushed into the point of convergence. But if you zoom in with a camera, what happens? I'm increasing the angular size and I can see the boat again.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Bring it to the distance, it goes away. The boat's in there. Now, if the sun was beyond this, okay, you can't zoom in. There's nothing to open up. The opening up is here. Now, if I was up higher, I might be able to see the sun a lot farther. Okay. And that's how I did this sun fade out. The sun fade out that you saw, that was done with a drone, super clear, above that atmospheric deck of opacity to the point where the sun kind of just went down and went away. Here, watch this. This is a glass dome on just a white carpet, and I'm bringing a pen light just across at the same level. And in the dome, it looks really good in person. Anyone can do this. Buy a glass dome on Amazon, right? A half sphere, or glass dome, it's called. Okay. And watch. Now I'm going to bring it back. The sun doesn't go below the edge, right? So now the sun is approaching my position. This is what I call my atmospheric dome, and the sun will rise. And then it'll hit noon, which is right here. And then it'll go down. And then it never goes below the edge of the dome. It just stops and fades away. Now add some atmosphere in there. Add all this other stuff that we experience in life. And then you can really see what's going on.
Okay, so how now? That's amazing. But I'm somebody who plants gardens in the summer. Yes. How do you guys explain seasons? Because seasons, you got half of the earth is usually, like in certain areas it's cold, and then you got on the other side it's summertime and I'm growing vegetables. Like, one spinning sun going around what you're showing?
I'm gonna do a little mind experiment with you, and then I'm gonna show you, and then your life is gonna change. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready. That's amazing, by the way.
What state are you in?
I am in Ontario, Canada.
Okay, so it gets friggin' cold there, right?
It gets cold.
Okay, so let's say I come up to visit you and in December, and we decide to sit out in your yard. We're 20 feet apart because we're afraid of the COVIDs. Okay, all right, and we're drinking our beers and we're just freezing. Okay.
Yep.
And then somebody comes along with a long pole with a beautiful heat lamp, and they hold it 15 feet over your head.
I'm gonna be warm.
And you're going to be warm. And that's your sun. Where is it? It's high over your head. It's close to you. It's high in the sky. Now, they're going to keep it at 15 feet high, and they're going to move it over to me. What's going to happen? I look at that sun over you. It's lower in the sky. It's far away. I can barely feel the heat. But as they move it over, it gets higher in the sky, just like my Flat Earth Kitchen sun did. From the point of view, you watch it, it gets lower in the sky. Right now, our sun is going out south. Okay. It's farther away. We have shorter days. We're not near the sun. Okay?
Okay.
And so when it's over me, it's high in the sky. I have my summer sun, and you have your winter sun, and then it moves back. The sun travels between the tropics. What the heck is that? Can you see that?
Yeah, I can. Thing? Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So now let's talk about this. You've heard about the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn.
Yes.
Heard it, never really knew what it was. So let's talk about it. That inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer.
Okay.
The outer one is the Tropic of Capricorn, and the red one is the equator. Anything in between these two lines is considered the tropics, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Anything inside of the Tropic of Cancer is considered the Arctic region. I'm getting text bombed. And anything outside is the Antarctic Arctic region. Makes sense. Okay.
Makes sense. Yep.
So, Jesus, Alex, cut the crap. Fucking, that's like, all right. So now if I can gain my thought here. Now the sun travels in between these every 6 months. In June, let's move it to June. Well, let's go out first. So we'll go to October, November, December. In December, the sun is out over the Tropic of Capricorn.
Okay.
It goes right over Australia. They're having their summer in the Tropic of in December. We're having our winter. Look where we are. We're up here. We're far away. The sun's going to be all the way out here when it comes around. It's far away. It's low in the sky. We have shorter days. It's cold. The sun is far away. South Africa, right? They're having their summer because the sun goes right over them. Okay? Anything in between the two yellow lines, the sun's never really that far away. Okay? It's always somewhere in between there. But now if I jump forward 6 months, in June, the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer. And you know where it's hot? It's hot in Miami, Florida. You know why? Look, the sun is going right over Miami. That's that heat lamp directly over you. Southern California, Mexico, super hot because the sun is directly over them. And it's closer to us here in the Arctic center. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now let's look at words. You know how words have meanings? They're always using words to spell us.
I love that. Yeah, I love that.
So what's the sun doing if we're inside the Tropic of Cancer in the Arctic region? It's arcing around us. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay. And now what if I'm in the outside of the Tropic of Capricorn in the Antarctic region? Is the sun arcing around me?
Yes.
No, it's not. It comes
towards
me.
Towards me. I see what
and then
saying.
It arcs away, so it's Antarcing away from me.
It's Antarctic. I get it.
Antarctic, Arctic. They're telling us what's going on. If the Earth was a globe, everything would be the same in the north and the south.
Okay,
at 6 months apart. Right. 6 months apart. And it's nothing like the same. Let me just show you what this is real quick, and then I'm going to get out of the app, and we'll get back to the questions. This is my app. It's the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. And this is because of all the censorship. I made it so we had a teaching tool and access to all the videos. Every day, there's a new featured video right down here. You click the thumbnail, up comes the video, you watch it. I do a little longer ones on the weekend, short ones during the week, trying to be considerate of people's time. And I have a challenge. I say, if you think Flat Earth is stupid, watch the video every day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you haven't lost your friends and family because you're a Flat Earther, you can send me your proof, and I'm offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe. But before you do it, you have to hit this question mark, the frequently asked questions. Okay. When you do, up come all the questions. Hey, what about tides? What about, what about tides? What about seasons? What about eclipses?
That's what I wanted to ask you about, was eclipses, because I love watching eclipses. How do you explain that because I see in your when you were showing me just now, the Earth and it's spinning around, and the way you explained it with the Capricorn and all of that. But how do you get an eclipse then? If they're spinning like the moon's on one side and the sun?
So this is a much bigger question, and again, the eclipses prove that we're not on a globe. What exactly are they? Yeah, and when I get out of the app, remind to ask me to.
I will do it.
That.
I will. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so I'm going to show you real quick. The sun and the moon that we see, in my opinion, are not. The firmament is the dome. I believe there is some sort of dome, like a lens over us. And I believe that space is mostly water. But the source of the sun and the moon, I believe, are within or above the firmament. And they're being projected in here. Just like when you take a magnifying glass and project the sun, it makes a little tiny sun.
Yep.
And the real source is above that magnifying glass. Okay?
Correct.
So I'm going to show you a quick little video here that I made where I filmed the eclipse and the source sun, right? Can you see? Why isn't that going full screen? I got go there. There we go. So on the right is the actual eclipse. It was kind of hazy, and on the left, I'm making a model eclipse, which is a paper towel with a light source behind it, and I'm eclipsing it. So So on a previous eclipse, somebody filmed this, and everyone's like, no, it's a lens flare, and it's not a lens flare. So right next to the sun, right here, you see this thing.
Yes.
And it's locked to the position of the sun. See how the other one's moving around? That's a lens flare, and it's reversed. Okay? The sun was actually eclipsed exactly this amount, but you can't see it just because it's so bright and it's blowing out the lens. But the sun was about 80% eclipsed at that point. Okay?
Okay.
So we're like, what is that? You know, it's not a lens flare, and we're trying to figure it out. And what I think that is, I think that's the projector. I think that's the source of the sun that we see. If you're watching a movie being projected onto a sheet, a rear projection, you can see the movie on the sheet, but if you look carefully at the sheet, you can see the projector behind the sheet. You can see the source.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
So I'm going to show you, I did an experiment. This is my video. And so what is that? Let me just jump forward a little bit. So here's my projected sun, right? And I used a paper towel, and I've got the source of the sun, and I'm using this Snapple bottle cap to create the eclipse. No one on a solar eclipse has ever seen the sun approach or exit the sun. They just see something eclipsing the sun. Like, you don't see it there because there's no light on it being projected in, so it's invisible to us here on Earth. Okay. So then I started thinking, I was like, well, what if the sky is more transparent? Okay. And so I got some tissue paper and I did the same thing again. And here comes my eclipse from the left, and watch. Look at the source. You're looking at the source right there.
Yep.
That's the source of what we're seeing. And you compare that to that actual eclipse, and it's the same thing.
Wow. That's amazing. I don't know how to explain that.
Well, that's how I explain it. So
yeah, I can't explain it, but it looks identical.
If you now one of the big ones is ships over the horizon. If I click the ships over the horizon, up comes a playlist that YouTube doesn't want you to see. All of these videos will blow your mind. And here's the thing: don't believe these videos. All right, don't believe these videos. Go do it yourself. That's what I did. I saw these videos and I was like, all right, I bought a super zoom camera, a tripod, and I went down, I started zooming in on things. I'm like, there's no way I should be able to see that. And you can watch a ship disappear, then you zoom in, and there it is again. Okay? And also atmospheric conditions. So all of these videos will turn you into a flat earther. So don't watch them if you don't want to be scorned and ridiculed and lose half of your friends. In the app, there's tons of other stuff, but there's something I want to show you very important. Our interview will be right here under DITRH interviews. That's my YouTube channel.
Perfect.
Have you looked into mud floods yet? Tartaria?
No, I've heard of it. Yeah.
This is a picture of the transatlantic railroad being excavated, not built, being dug out of the ground. Okay. If you click this button, just make sure you have some time off of work and bring food and water.
Okay. I'm definitely will.
So tons of stuff here, but people say, nobody, you guys are just a fringe group. I'm going to hit the little handshake button, and this is showing me the flat earthers that are near me. Okay. These are flat earthers that are near me. All right. And there's 24,900, or what does it say? 24,000, whatever. 24,619 people that have registered for this. It's only been out for a little while. And on my app, there's well over 100,000 app users. Only 24,000 of them have signed up for this. And I would say less than 1% of the people that know the Earth is flat even know about my app. So how many, that's like 20 million people are flat earthers if you do that math. Okay. I think it's more than that, but they're everywhere. And in the app, you can touch one of the blue dots and then you can hit the little button and you can send a message and you can contact people. We can use their technology to bring us together, which is the last thing that they want.
Exactly. You're right.
Pretty cool,
so
right?
A lot of these videos that you show on your app, you said YouTube and Google and stuff are blocking. Like,
they're not blocking them, they're shadow banning them where you can't find them.
Banning.
Like one of the greatest videos of all, one of the longest standing top videos is called A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions by ODD TV. Okay? Got a long, unique title. got a channel name. You search the whole thing, it won't show up. You'll get Professor Dave, Psyop Man Dan. You'll get Bill Nye, the Lion Guy with the bow tie. You'll get all of this crap. Maybe 10 pages down, you'll find that video. Maybe. And that's if you search for it by name and channel name. Okay? The app will bring you to these videos. You watch the daily video in the morning. Like, I just tell people, just watch it like every morning while you're having your tea or coffee or breakfast. Just watch it. Watch one video. And the problem is they do it, and then the next one that pops up isn't a YouTube algorithm. It's my video, right? Because if you keep watching, all the videos that follow come from the app, right?
Okay, I see.
And then basically I get a letter. I usually get an email from somebody that took the challenge, and they're like, you know what? I was going to prove you wrong. I was going to get my 3 Bitcoins, and I was going to retire. And I hate you. You turned me into a flat earther. Now my wife thinks I'm crazy, and I was just like, you know what? You couples together, flat earther, non-flat earther.
Yep.
Who's got the advantage? Do you know who?
I don't know.
Flat earther has the advantage because the ball earther may one day become a flat earther. The flat earther will never. Once you go flat, you don't go back. The flat earther will never become a ball earther again. So, if you're a flat earther and your significant other, friend, brother, sister, mother, wife, whatever, boyfriend is not a flat earther, just give them time. Give them the app. Gift them the app. You can do that. Gift them the app and say, hey, let's just watch the daily video, and each day let's have a mini little video book club, and discuss the daily video every day, right? There's so much good content in there. You can just get rid of your cable bill. I just saved you $100+ a month. And you can do all these other things. Since I became a flat earther in 2015, I haven't had a moment of boredom. Not a moment. There's so much interesting, fascinating stuff. So
that's amazing. And what I have 2 questions that I had in my mind. Then I can because I know you're busy, so I'm so appreciative you did this, because this is really
problem.
Interesting.
We got a good 10 minutes left or more.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So now this question that I'm asking will lead into my last question.
Go.
If there's a ton, you have a lot of airline pilots and stuff that are flying all the time, how they must know that, if they're, I'm trying to word this right. So how are they must know what's provable ground, right?
Not all of them. High. So let's say you're on a big plane, and every pilot on anyone that's ever flown a plane on there all of a sudden dies, and they're like, Rick, you gotta land the plane, right?
Yeah.
So they put you in there, and basically the control tower will go, you see the knob over here? Turn it to 750, press it, and then the plane will do exactly what it does. Exactly. And then they'll say, okay, now turn this one to 6512, and then you press the button, and the plane will do that. So you're not even flying the plane. These guys are computer operators, right? They take off and they land. Now, don't get me wrong. I think a majority of the pilots know it's flat and stationary. They're figuring it out. Retired pilots are coming out. The problem is, if you're a pilot, we had a KLM pilot go on our show, Globebusters. I highly recommend everybody watch that show. It's on Wednesdays and Sundays. After the interview, she showed us all of this information. 20, 40-year pilot. I forget how long she was a pilot for them. And they grounded her the next day and fired her. Okay? For talking about the Earth being flat, right? There's the Qantas pilots from Australia. They all talk about it amongst themselves, but they can't talk about it publicly. Now, in the app, under what about all pilots and scientists? Are they all in on it? Tons of interviews, tons of information on pilots and stuff. Just watch that, and you'll be like, they do know. Lots of them know. Next time you're on a flight, ask the pilot. Is there any curvature? But here's a quick thing. Let me just show you a couple plane routes. This is Scandinavian flight routes. Looks like the flat Earth map to me. Here is from Hawaii to New York, had an emergency landing, and they landed in Seattle.
I remember. Yes. Yep.
Seattle's like 1,000 miles out of the way. Okay, why did they go to Seattle? Right?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Here's another one. They went all the way to Moscow. Moscow on a flat Earth map is right in line, but it's 1,000 miles or more out of the way. Okay? Here's another one from Dallas to Beijing, stop in Calgary. Calgary's right on the line. Calgary's not right on the line on the globe. Okay? Here's another one. Here's Chicago to Dahl. They went to Moscow again. Why do they keep going to Moscow? Right? Because Moscow's kind of in the middle here. Everything kind of crosses over the middle. Right? This is one of my favorites. Going from Buenos Aires to South Africa. It should just go right across here.
Right.
But they go all the way up to Amsterdam and down. Right? This red line is the equator, and many southern flights, all distant southern flights, do cross into the north, but never, ever do any two northern origin and destination flights ever cross the equator. Never, ever do any two destinations that have a direct flight that are both in the north, the plane never crosses the horizon. And that's because you can draw a straight line between any points in the north. Anything inside this red line is the north.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you'll never cross the equator. But you can't draw a line to Australia from here unless you go around. But they don't. They cut all the way up. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Another flight. Look at it. Straight line. This is where it's like way out of the way. None of that makes any sense whatsoever. Australia, right? From Santiago to Australia goes all the way up in the north and across and down. Straight line on a flat earth map. Bam. Right?
Wow. That makes no sense why they would go all the way up like that.
No sense on a globe. Okay?
Like,
no sense. No sense on a globe.
You're right. On a globe. Correct.
No, nonsense.
Right.
Nonsense. Right? Don't trade in your common sense, your God-given common sense for nonsense. So here's a question for you. Circumnavigation, billions of people have done it east and west. 0 people have done it north and south. 0. Why, if we live on a ball, hasn't somebody circumnavigated north and south? And the answer is because that's not how circumnavigation works. Right? Circumnavigation, and again, this doesn't prove we live on a globe at first, right? Okay. Circumnavigation only works east and west. Why is that? Well, think about a compass. What does the needle on the compass point towards?
North.
It points towards north. So at the center of our flat earth, we have a magnetic mountain, we believe. And all compasses point to the north. So here's my compass. It's pointing to the north. I'm trying to push this compass west, but I have to keep that north pointed to the center. West is a circle.
Wow.
East is a circle, just in the other direction. Ready? I'm going to go east. Now, I'm driving the plane, the boat, with a car, and I'm looking at my compass. I think I'm going in a straight line. If I put you on a railroad track, not a railroad track, on a circular track 500 miles around, you'd think you're driving in a straight line. Now, If I try to dead reckon west, and I don't immediately correct to the north, I'm heading south. South is every direction away from the center. South, south, south. South is every direction away from the center. Now, if I start here, I say, hey, I'm going to go south. On a globe, when I go south, I should pop up over here.
Yes, yes.
But you don't, because if you go south, you just disappear. Now, you can go north. All right. You don't pop up over here because no one's ever done it. I'm going north, north, north. But as soon as I pass the center, look, the compass just did a 180. I'm still going in a straight line. Now I'm heading south. Every straight line is south. So no matter what direction you point, you're really pointing south. Isn't that a mind bender?
That's crazy. But it makes sense. Like when
it makes show it, total sense.
It does. Like I'm just trying to think like why, like that's amazing. Now that leads into my last question that I thought of. And what is your thoughts on, okay, there's a lot, if this is a flat plane, we're living on a flat earth and we're in a dome, a firmament and everything. Yeah. There's a lot of people that have to be keeping quiet about this. This is
why the lie? How do they keep it alive? How do they keep it quiet? Right?
There you go. See, why the lie? And what's the benefit of the lie and why the lie? Why not just say the earth is flat?
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Love it. And that's always a question that I try to save for last. So thanks for saving it for last.
Perfect.
There's not that many people in on it. Teachers are the ones that memorize and regurgitate the best. Then they just they just pass it on. Okay. There's people that will fight to protect the globe. And they don't even understand their model. Yeah, anyone that says, the Earth is not a flat, it's a globe, ask them how fast it's spinning. They don't know. Ask them how fast it's orbiting. Ask them how fast it's traveling. They have no idea. And they're defending a model that they don't know. They're attacking a model that they don't know, that they have a false idea about. Okay? Remember, we're corkscrewing through space. Through space. Traveling, chasing the sun at 4.4 billion miles a year. Okay, are you familiar with the Georgia Guidestones?
Yes, I've studied them, and that goes to the North Star.
That goes to the North Star,
and it never moves.
It never moves. Okay, nope. It never moves. Do a time lapse. It all goes around. I tell people, like, go get in your car and mount a pipe or something and line it up with the North Star. And then drive for 4 years, okay? And tell me if it's still pointing towards the North Star, okay?
Okay.
It's the dumbest thing ever. We're corkscrewing through space, going around, and North Star never moves. And the only answer they have is, well, the North Star is not there, and the light's just following. It's gone a billion years. Ridiculous. Even if that was true, we're still moving. That light doesn't stay as a point. Remember, light inverse square spreads out.
Exactly.
It spreads out. And it gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer until the point where it's still too dim to see.
Wow.
So why the lie? Why the lie?
Why the lie? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, the lie is so these people can control the world. They want to control your mind. So everything that you have in your life is because of the way that you think. Okay?
Yep.
And when you're in sync with your life and in that flow state, your thoughts bring your reality to you. Look at anybody. People that are miserable, unhappy, they're miserable and unhappy because that's how they are. That's how they think. And people that are happy bring those things into their life. Your vibration, birds of a flutter flock together. Well, people of high vibration vibrate together. Okay? So they don't want us to know that this world, that we're not a random speck spinning through an infinite universe, okay? They don't want, in a godless, or distant God universe, they don't want us to know that there's free energy, that there's more land, that we are at the center of creation, that there's, they don't want us to know that maybe there's more land beyond Antarctica. They don't want us to know that we are at the center of creation. They don't want us to know the power of our mind. The only control that the governments, mind control the mind, have over us is in our imagination. Imagine if everyone listened to your podcast and they go, you know what? That Dave guy is right. Let's screw the governments. I'm never going to listen to anything they say. It's over. It's over. It's over instantly. And here's the beautiful thing. A lot of people just can't wrap their minds around. They have to ask our permission. They're not allowed to break our free will. That is the law within the Earth system, that they can't break our free will. So they tell us what they're doing, and if we're too stupid to say no, we're consenting. That's how this commerce and contract law works, right? We're basically making agreements all the time. And if they tell us what they're doing, like they did on that September morning in New York City, for months and years ahead of time, and we're too stupid to see it, then we're allowing these things to happen. We're giving them permission. They did that so they can go go into all of these Middle Eastern countries and do all the stuff that they want. I'm like, why don't they just go do that? They got the keys to all the fighters and the bombs, but they need our consent. We need to pound the war drums for them to go, right? This is a very spiritual existence, and that's what they don't want you to know. So if you live on a ball, you live in a prison. A prison, okay? You live in a prison for your mind. That's what Morpheus said, right? Look at the documentary with Keanu Reeves, The Matrix. At the beginning, he's plugged into the Matrix. He's depressed. He can't figure out what's going on. He's confused. He's weak, right? Then looking at Neo at the end of the movie, when he unplugged from the mind matrix, he took back his God-given freedom, and they'll put those two together, totally different people. That's what happens when you find flat Earth. You take your power back, you stop giving it away, you start learning that you are the one in control and nobody has control over you. And that's how, Dave, with all this crap going on in the world, this chaos and fascism and communism coming our way, why are you talking about flat Earth? And the answer is because we're playing on their monopoly board with their stupid rules. And if your head is up your butt and you're flying through space lost, how are you ever going to make a rational decision? When, I'm going to the conference, the Flattoberfest, which is October 22nd and 23rd in South Carolina. Anybody that's listening to this, if you're in that area, you need to go. There's going to be hundreds and hundreds of us. And every single person there is awake and aware and can see through the bullshit of what's going on in the world right now. So this is an amazing world that we live in, and they don't want us to know that.
Exactly, and that does make sense because if we the governments from all the research I've done, they feed on fear. They want us always in a fear state. And if eventually the Earth is proven flat and it's in a controlled system, it's definitely, like you said, giving that there's a God creation, whatever you want to. It makes us more. We're not just random specks on a ball. We're
not random specks flying through a godless infinite universe that can be taken out on by an asteroid at any moment. All of that is nonsense. Everything that you're afraid of is nonsense. Volcanoes, not what they tell you they are. The weather is controlled. The nuclear bombs don't exist. Did you know that? Nuclear bombs don't exist. You knew that. All right. Yes, good for you. Good for you.
Yep. So, and this can all be found on your app. Is that correct? If
the app will take you everywhere. And listen, the Tataria button, that just be careful if you click that one, because that one's going to take you down a rabbit hole where you don't have to worry about crashing into the bottom, because there is no bottom. Okay.
Beautiful.
There is no bottom.
All right. And so I know you're, like I said, I'll wrap it up because I know that you're busy. So is there anything? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, my YouTube channel is the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. It's DITRH. It's all like a 5-minute video is like a documentary for me. All short videos. So if you got a short attention span, start there. Right? It's like me feeding you little pebbles of crack, because soon you're just going to want bigger pieces.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, just to promote anything that you want. The floor is yours.
And the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, make sure it's by Blue Water Bay, because there's already a knockoff by the Flat Earth Society out there. It's called the Ron Media Group on Android, and it's a gatekeeping app, and it sucks. My app is the highest rated app in both stores. And in case you forget the name of the app and you're not sure you have the right one, and you want the friend finder. The friend finder is literally a game changer. People are finding, employees are finding, people that have companies are hiring people because they know any blue dot is somebody that's smart, won't steal from them, and is a good person. And that's a great way to start. It's a game changer. So I'll get off of that. But if you forget all of this, my name's Dave. FlatEarthDave.com. The links are there. FlatEarthDave.com.
Perfect. And I'll make sure I leave them in my description too for you, Dave, and everything to get people to your site, because this has been very interesting, and I am definitely going to go start checking out your videos because you've got me intrigued. I mean, you answered everything.
Let me tell you something about the app. The app is $3. Oh, this is it. He's in it for the $3. I had my own company I walked away from. I was making tons of money. And I walked away from it all because I'm like, what difference does this make if we are slaves for the next 1,000 years, which we are this close to becoming. So people need to wake the hell up and go. It's $3. Now, after you get the app, you're going to get a little pop-up that says, would you like to subscribe for 99 cents a month or $11 for the year? There's no ads. The second it pops up, you can exit out and it goes away, and it only shows up once a day. So if you don't want to subscribe, you don't have to. And before, it gave you still got everything. The subscription only gets rid of that not even annoying pop-up. But now the pop-up, you get the friend finder, but you can't send outgoing messages without being subscribed.
Okay.
Don't subscribe. Don't subscribe if you don't want to. If the $11 a year is too much, it's a margarita with a shitty tip. Okay? All right? Then don't do it. Don't give me any crap about it. The app costs thousands of dollars a month to run, right? And the sending of messages cost money and server time. Okay, so that's all that's about. So I don't want to hear it. Just read the reviews. Here's what I tell people: just go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and read the reviews.
Okay.
And don't buy the app, but you will.
Perfect. No, that's amazing, Dave. And I'm definitely going to be getting your app. I got to go and check it out because I want to check out the video you told me not to check out, which I will.
Yeah.
And all the other stuff.
In the app, there's a button that's a spider web. Hit that. The center button on that page is called The Lost History of Flat Earth. And then there's a whole nother series with it. Careful if you click that button. That one will blow your mind. That's a 5-hour video. It's a 5-hour video, and it's a life changer.
Wow. And I think that this app that you designed is a great way to introduce people to it, because I just quickly, before we go to tell you the story, I did the biggest mistake of my life, because when I started looking into flat earth, I went to dinner to my wife's family and brought up flat earth, and then I brought it out to it, and oh my God, the reaction, Dave, I got was they couldn't believe I was looking into it. So I think this is a great way to give a gift to somebody and show them the app, and then let them just watch. So
in the app, if you have all of these images, so when you're talking to somebody, they're like, "What do you mean circumnavigation?" You can bring up different pictures. You can bring up, when you're showing. Whoops, I got a little thing going on here, but you can bring up images to support yourself while you're talking. You can show them different things.
Exactly.
And then, they're like, well, what about Chips Over the Horizon? You pull up that video. Well, are there other flat earthers? You show them that. What about, you're a book person? Let's find a book. One of the greatest books is 16 Emergency Landings. That's where I'm showing you some of those charts from that book. Okay. That's a great one. Or the Iron Republic, another amazing story about what's beyond Antarctica. It's very, very, very cool. But in the app, under the Antarctica button, in the frequently asked questions, hit Antarctica on the left there. That one will show you some amazing stuff. And then under the web button in the middle, the lost history of flat Earth. That puppy right there is amazing, amazing stuff.
Wow, that is amazing, Dave. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit and bring up flat Earth and walk us through it, because it's amazing. It's an amazing topic, and once you start looking into it, as you said, once you get over to here's the thing: nobody likes having their ball taken away. This is what we've been indoctrinated with, so it's so hard. It's the foundation of your world. You're not losing something. You get it. You basically find your foundation. Here, let's do just a quick little imagination experiment. You with me? I'm with you.
So everyone listening, unless you're driving, close your eyes. Imagine yourself that you're at, whether it's your home, a vacation home, a place that you saw on television, whatever, a nice, comfortable, beautiful place. You're there. And now remember the motions of the spinning, heliocentric, corkscrewing world. So go outside, and you're standing there with your eyes closed, and you're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. You're orbiting 10 times faster than the hypersonic sled. You're chasing the sun 90 times faster than the hypersonic sled. And that whole system's moving sideways at even a faster speed. Okay? You probably fell over in your mind because with all that going on, and you might be nauseous and want to throw up. And you're on a tiny speck in an infinite universe, all alone, and you evolved from pond scum. Now, shake that off. Maybe go to a different spot. Maybe go to the beach. Look out over that flat ocean and know that you're not moving. The earth never moves. It doesn't go up, down, left, right. It doesn't do anything. You're perfectly still on a solid foundation, and everything in the sky is beautifully spinning in perfect synchronicity over you. Synchronism. How do you feel now?
A lot better.
A lot better. Because that's where you are.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, great stuff, Dave. Thank you so much for taking the time. It's amazing. And I'm definitely going to be getting your app, like I said, looking into it and giving it to my friends and stuff. All right. And I want to let you know that you're always welcome to come back here and talk flat Earth with me. You're
well, and be careful. This is going up on YouTube.
Yes.
So I have a team of trolls that are going to show up They're going to be the first ones there. They're going to comment on everyone else's thing, but just look at their channel. There's no videos on their channel, and they never ever offer proof. They'll just make fun of you, call you names, strawman arguments, and name calling, and they'll never offer a single proof. Right?
Perfect.
They'll be there right away, and so don't be discouraged. And the thing is, a lot of people do get discouraged by comments. So,
well, unfortunately, I'm not one of those people, because I definitely do some interviews on topics that people have definitely come after me. The trolls come after me, but I'm just, as I always say, I'm just here. I like to have a great conversation on topics that interest me, and you know, that's what we're doing.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, Dave. Thank you so much. And please come back some other time.
No problem. Send me a link when this is up and I'll add it to the app. All right.
I will do. Thank you so much, Dave. Have a great day.
All right. See you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You all love the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. The best tool to show your friends and strangers how the Flat Earth actually works. But are you ready for a Flat Earth app game changer? A new feature has been added. But first, a reminder of some of the existing features. Video of the day. World time. See what time it is all around the flat Earth. A true Earth compass that shows true navigation across and around the flat Earth plane. Weather. Tap for detailed local weather information. Know what phase and where the moon is at all times. Watch the sun travel between the tropics for the seasons. Select an amazing background. Add a countdown to your next big date. Video playlists in different languages. See the real trade winds circling the flat Earth. Top 21 frequently asked questions with quick pop-up video answers. Access to the best photos and GIFs at your fingertips. Flat Earth books and merchandise, and more. Now, the game changer upgrade we've always dreamed of having. After a year in development, our app just went next level. You're now able to find Flat Earth app users near you. See where they are and send them an instant message in the app. Instantly arrange for a Flat Earther meetup. When activated, blue dots mark the location of the app users near you. You have 3 choices on showing your location. PP, to pinpoint. This marks your exact location. CC, for city center, which will place you within a few miles of your current location. Or turn off, which removes you from the map altogether. Use it when traveling, or when you're out for a day at the beach, or while eating out somewhere. Find out where other Flat Earthers are and connect. Find like-minded Flat Earth app users and regain your sanity. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best tool to show your friends and strangers how our Flat Earth actually works.